Welcome to Voices of Rise, the podcast that shines a spotlight on the women who are leading the future and shaping real change. These are honest conversations about leadership, resilience, and what it truly takes to rise. Get ready for powerful insight, bold perspectives, and voices you need to hear. Women who aren't just talking about change, but making a dent in the universe. Welcome to the podcast, Kelly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is this your first time at Rise or have you been before?
I was here last year.
Okay.
We did it. I was sat on the panel for the finance panel last year, but that was my first, the first time I got invited to anything for She Inspires. Really, that was when I met Gulnaz. So yeah, it was nice to finally get introduced to it all. I had heard about it on the awards and the grapevine, but yeah. It was nice last year.
And this year, are you doing any speaking at any of the panels?
We've just done a workshop, myself and Kay Price. We did Money Matters workshop, so we was just talking. We kind of split it between us both. So I spoke about the accountancy side, more personal finance rather than business finance, and then Kay. We kind of went hand in hand. She then came in and started talking about the investment side, when you can save money, where you can save money.
Interesting. So you founded Jackson Accounts.
Yes.
Did you work for a company before that? Or?
I did, yeah. I worked at a company in Rochdale where I qualified. And then I moved to a company in Bolton, quite a large firm in Bolton. And it was when I went on maternity from there when I essentially started my little enterprise. It was mainly because, which is quite a big topic for Gulnaz, women just not being able to achieve what you want to achieve in such a male-run business. Mm-hmm. So the most of the companies that I worked for, learning and qualifying, it was run by male partners.
Okay.
There wasn't any female partners.
Very male-dominated.
Yeah. So it was very frowned upon when you told them that you were pregnant. So it was a bit like, one of the partners in the specific firm that I was at, so I'm not mentioning any names really, but he's no longer there. But there was one partner that really came down hard on me, and he really made me feel like that I shouldn't be where I should be, basically. Yes. because I was a woman, because I was pregnant, and it halted my move to any senior level. So I went on maternity, and it was a long, hard look at what I'm going to do with my life, and that's where it ultimately began. Because
it's quite a leap to start your own business.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody realises when they're about to start a business, yeah, you are an expert in your field, but to then go ahead, oh yeah, I can do this. Oh, it'll be easy. I've serviced all these clients all these years, but then opening your business then it opens a new level of responsibilities. It is absolute crazy when obviously most people talk about all the different hats you have to have as a business owner. So it is very, very different, and there's been times when I felt like throwing the cards in, many, many times.
Really? So when you first started out, what gave you the courage to actually just do it and start?
It wasn't supposed to be what it is today. It was because when I had my son, I was studying. I was working full time, so I was working 9 to 5 at a firm, and then I was studying at nights. They put me through an apprenticeship, so I managed to get my qualifications without having to go to uni. So it was all done within. It saved me a fortune in student loans, but I missed out on a very large proportion of my son's life because of it. Mm-hmm. And then when I went on maternity with my daughter, which was 7 years on, I thought, I could probably do a little bit of self-employed work. I'll send some leaflets out there, I'll get my CV out there, and I can just work part-time and actually see this baby grow. Well, it ended up turning into something I could never have foreseen.
Really?
The leaflets, the CVs that went out, I had So I went on maternity in the, when did I, so she had her in the February. I went on maternity in the November, and by the July, I already had enough clients to be able to go full time on my own. And that wasn't really the goal at the time. So my husband ended up looking after Bella most of the time, because the business took off, and I'd worked more than I'd ever worked in my life.
That's incredible. It just goes to show that fortune favours the brave. But I mean, in itself, that must have brought some new challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, what was it like when all that work was coming in and suddenly you were no longer an employee, you were a founder, a business owner, a whole different landscape, and also a mother as well, new mother.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Exciting at the time. Very, I suppose you just don't know what's around the corner. And at the time, you are just trying to get business through the door. You want to help everybody that's coming through your door. You want to give them the best service possible. So I, at the time, thought it was fantastic. I've come out of a job thinking that I was actually going to be there probably for the rest of my life, and that I was going to just have this 9-to-5 job, and I probably would have been happy with that. Maybe not. But yeah, I think at the time it was amazing for me, and my husband was completely and utterly supportive of everything. He never once said, "What are you doing out all hours?" I ended up getting an office on Bark Street in Bolton, just in the Regent building, just so I could separate my home and work life. But I'm there till blooming 2-3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. It was hard work. It was a hard slog. And if you're not prepared for it, or if you're not motivated to do that, then I wouldn't advise anybody to do it. But the rewards from it is you just can't. The feeling from being able to help so many people now is amazing for me for now. Have you always been good with numbers, Kelly?
No.
Gosh.
So how did you end up going into accountancy?
I kept coming out with a D with maths. I was never ever really good with maths, and obviously as an accountant you go out with your friends and it's like, oh, Kelly's the accountant, and you split the bill. I was like, well, get me a calculator and I will. So yeah, I've never been great with numbers, but being an accountant isn't actually about numbers. It's about spreadsheets. It's about knowing the rules and the regulations and the compliance. It's knowing what HMRC will accept, statistics. It's being motivated to keep yourself up to date with those regulations. Any software, any Excel spreadsheet can run the numbers for you, which at the time when I left school, I never expected to be an accountant. I actually wanted to be a journalist. I went down the pan. So yeah, it was very different. I went into customer service from leaving school. Customer service, which was, back then it was fun because it was customer service, quality control, excuse me. And I worked for a toy import and export company. It was great, answering the phones to unhappy people. I think created that foundation for me to be able to be a little bit of a people person, more social when it comes to the clients, understanding how they view life. And it was a good start, but at the time I left school and thought, what am I doing? Yeah. But yeah, it was a good fact. Looking back now, the foundations that I got from that was great.
And financial literacy as well. I would imagine you do have to understand the language of finance.
Yeah, you're taught that along the way. You've got to have something about you. You've got to be able to work with money and know your incomings and your outgoings. And but yeah, through the qualifications, after I worked at the toy import and export, and then went on to be a croupier, and I worked in casinos. So I think potentially I was guided towards money a little bit in the money industry. So I moved to London, and I stayed there for about 12 to 18 months. And then I come back, fell into an accountancy position just in the finance department. And that's when I started going on courses, going on workshops. I think I found my love of something. I thought, I actually really like doing this. So when HMRC had its office in Bolton, any workshop that they put on for the public, I were there. So I was
were constantly self-improving, stacking those skills.
Learning, self-taught on the softwares that were around at the time. Sage was huge back then. Everything was self-taught until it was time when I started working for a firm, and they said, why don't you go and do your AAT? So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I went to college, did my AAT part-time, and that's where my journey began, really, in accountancy. That's where it started.
That's amazing. I mean, you were obviously really driven, really organised, which are all great leadership skills. So it doesn't surprise me at all that you ended up as a founder with your own business. Do you think, Kelly, that women are a little bit behind when it comes to financial literacy generally?
Yeah, I think that everybody is, to be honest. Women mainly, because I expect that a lot of the women let the men take control. I do see a lot of men coming through the door, though, that have no clue, and their wives look after it for them. So I do see that side of it as well.
So it's almost like either the wife or the husband is almost like the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the house. And deals with all the finances, and the other one can be a bit clueless.
Yeah. I think women are less of risk takers. They are very risk averse. They don't really want to put the money into certain things. And I think that's why men generally do better in business, because they haven't got that confidence issue, whereas a woman would sit back and think, no, I've got family at home, I've got to think about that. I won't do that because of that reason. So a woman seems to always be held back.
Well, I suppose from like women can be they're not only the CEO or the founder of their own business, they're the CEO of their family as well.
That's it, absolutely.
And what's encouraged in business, being disruptive or taking risks, is kind of the opposite of what's good for your family.
That's it.
There's that constant dilemma, which I would imagine affects them a lot when it comes to issues of finance.
Yeah, but you do see women in the finance departments in all the larger corporations. So it is the women that with the management skills, but they just can't seem to take that next step to do it themselves. I mean, we're seeing a lot more of it now, which is great. We're seeing a lot more women coming through our doors, starting new businesses. They're getting that confidence, building that confidence. It's a lot more. Social media's pushing it now, aren't they? Women are feeling that confidence coming through now, which is great to see. It's nice to see that we've got some real leaders coming through now.
Yeah. What would you say makes a good leader in your industry?
For me, it's somebody needs to be kind and understanding. They need to be empathetic towards the fellow employee or colleague. It's difficult to be a leader if you're just firing your requests at people all the time, because we sat through quite a lot of workshops today which are focusing on the culture of a business, which is how I try to run my business. I wouldn't, because in the past it was very male run, women weren't really given the opportunities that men were. We were always spoken down to a little bit. So, but to be fair, my mentor was a man, and I still speak to him now after all these years, and he has held quite a big role in me becoming where I am. Without him, I probably wouldn't even got through the first couple of years. So yeah, a leader to me is somebody that is kind, gives the time, and helps people in a similar situation to you. I mean, the knowledge that you have could potentially help somebody thrive.
Absolutely, 100%. And what about with your clients? How do you want your business to be perceived? Because obviously you've got a female leader in the business, female founder. How do you hope your clients will perceive Jackson Accounts?
Our brand is about our team. So there's 5 of us. When we're putting our messages out there, we are that professional, caring team. Approachable. You can speak to us about pretty much anything. And we're there to help the business grow. So our, I suppose, perfect client would be somebody that is maybe a growing business, can't quite do their own accounts anymore, want to take that next step and pass off their accountancy side of things to us, but also wants to be involved in the numbers, because obviously not knowing your numbers in your own business is potentially a threat. You need to know what your business is achieving, mainly to manage your liabilities, your tax liabilities. You need to know that. And for many years, a lot of people have said, I don't want to know. I just want you to do everything, and then at the end of the year, just give me my accounts and that. But we want to work with businesses that want to know. Yes. We want to work with people that are interested in growing and potentially being a part of it on a monthly basis.
So more of a partnership, really.
Yeah.
You kind of work as more of a partnership with your clients.
Yeah.
Really interesting, Kelly. And where can people find you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn?
We're on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
I am on LinkedIn. And I have got some followers on there, but I'm going to be honest, I don't really go on LinkedIn as much as I should. It's one of them areas that, I don't know, I think it's a bit of a scary prospect, LinkedIn. I go on and I've got hundreds of messages and I'm like, I don't know where to start.
So you've got your website.
Yeah, we've got the website, we've got Facebook, Instagram, and when we are on LinkedIn, if I do get messaged on there, I do generally come back, but it might be a week later because I don't go on it as much as I should.
And just finally, what are your hopes for the future of Jackson Accounts? Do you want to get a lot bigger, or are you happy where you're at? Do you have any particular goals?
We've got quite a lot in the pipeline, which is more workshops, more finance education. We want to be focusing, with MTD coming in now, we want to focus on the general public to help them understand that what's happening is not that scary and could potentially be life-changing for people. If they know the personal finances and they know what's coming in, what's going out and what money's spare, they know what they can and can't spend. It's surprising how many people out there have no clue what's going out of the banks. They have absolutely no idea. So that's our focus. We want to provide financial support to the general public, and hopefully try and get into some schools as well. And OK is currently doing talks in schools, but I want to focus more with 17, 18-year-olds, the ones that are going into college, possibly going over into uni.
It's interesting that you talk about that age group as well. So I remember when I first went to university when I was 18, and my parents gave me a budget to spend, and I just lost the plot with it. I think I spent it all in the first week, and and I think that is the kind of age group, these kind of baby adults, if you like.
That's it.
That kind of help is brilliant.
It really needs. I mean, in school they switch off. At 14, 15, they don't want to know. They don't even know what you're talking about. They mum and dad buys them everything. They might have an allowance every week, but they don't have to worry about where that's coming from and how long it has to last them. So when you get to 16, 17, 18, they're actually thinking about moving out of the parents' houses at that point. So it would become, I think would be welcomed, and I think it is welcomed. We've had a chat with Bolton School, so we're going to try and do a few career fairs with them just to try and help a few people. If we can help just one this year, then I'm set on my goal. I'm set.
That would be brilliant. Thank you so much, Kelly. It's been really interesting talking to you. Best of luck for the future.
Thank you.
The Voices of Rise podcast is sponsored and produced by Applehead Media.